Is this person lost in space, or are they exactly where they wish to be? High above our humane home, we are met by a lone astronaut hovering in ascendant space. This piece instantly immerses us so well within the enchanting atmosphere of space. When you first see this work, your eye is likely going to be drawn towards the single subject on the left side. After all, this orange uniform offers a striking contrast as the rarest color within the work before us. The colors in this composition consist of orange upon a purplish blue base with a slight hint of green. You'll notice how the colors green, blue, and purple are analogous, meaning they are right next to each other, while orange is across from them on the color wheel. This creates what we call a complementary color scheme, which contrasts one tone above all else with a visual accent. Yet, the presence of this sole subject alone is more than enough for us to notice them. Not only are they the only person present in the composition, they are also floating high above Earth's horizon. So from color to rarity, space, and singularity, this astronaut is simply impossible to ignore. Of course, due to the setting of the scene as being in space, we feel an intense and staggering sense of scale. Sights such as these are more than enough to inspire a sense of awe in any regular person. We are instantly dwarfed by the vast size of our home planet. For most people, a sight like this would be the most beautiful thing they have ever seen in their entire lives. We see this ethereal and enchanting glow that rises off of the Earth's surface in the distant horizon. You might be reminded of the aurora borealis that feels like a sacred or divine energy that exists as an aura of this beautiful and enchanting visual element. And yet, despite the clear and present beauty of this powerful piece, we can't help but wonder how this person got here. They are clearly an astronaut of some kind, and yet they are hovering without any tether or way back to their station or ship. This of course brings us to the title of this piece as Lost in Space. Original artist Jocelin Carmes is clearly pointing to this person being lost or maybe even forgotten in this vast realm of space. To make the choice to become an astronaut can be a very difficult decision. After all, you leave all family and friends, choosing to sit upon a rocket and fire yourself into one of the harshest and most unforgiving frontiers known to all of mankind. This is both a heroic and humbling endeavor. And yet, despite the title of this piece pointing to someone being lost in space, in some strange way we can't help but feel thankful for the sight before us. To view Earth from this vantage point is a sight reserved for the most dedicated few. We can't help but feel as if this subject is almost transcending certain limits as they rise high above everything they once knew. And the original artist has also explored a very similar theme that we see within the work before us, that is, floating within the vast realm of space with this enchanting and ethereal glow. This can be seen in the work entitled Floating. In this piece, we see what appears to be a young boy who is flying or even playing or floating high above the Earth's horizon. The perspective within this work is incredibly dynamic, and we feel a sense of motion as if we're turning and floating with the weightlessness of this lone figure. But of course, compared to the work we're studying today, Lost in Space, one shows a very dynamic sense of motion, as if turning and flying above the Earth's horizon, while the other seems to be floating almost calmly in a tranquil sense over the Earth's horizon as well. Both are incredibly enchanting, have a very similar color palette, and of course, both of these works capture the charm and magic of space so well. But returning back to the main work today, Lost in Space, there is almost an inherent sense of the sacred or the divine in the powerful perspective we see here. And of course, with this in mind, how does this work make you feel? Do you think this subject is truly lost, or are they choosing to let go in some way? Maybe they're taking a true risk to view this sight on their own terms. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. The piece before us is a product of the digital illustration medium of expression, also known as digital paint. This medium, of course, mimics many of the qualities of traditional paint, but with many additional benefits. Some of these include the undo feature, instant choices of saturation, and the ethereal glow that is inherently offered by the display on an electric screen. Jocelin Carmes is a French digital illustrator who made their premiere debut in the Apollo Art Archive on the 29th of November in the year 2021 with the stunning digital painting entitled The Conductor. Since this initial debut, Carmes has been studied many times, from pieces entitled Floating to the James Webb Telescope launch. I may have forgotten to turn off the stove, that is one weird looking horse, and of course, less is more. It's safe to say that Jocelin Carmes is a master digital illustrator in the making, and at this point has clearly defined the scene as a career digital artist. Thus, this beautiful and powerful digital painting captures the enchanting elements of space and the heroes who risk their lives willingly to go straight into the final frontier. Our subject might be lost, but a sight like this may be more than worth it for such a risk.